imagine all the features on Instagram are just these little check boxes. And the more check boxes that you use, the more that Instagram likes that. I want to, putting up a story every day, check box. Putting up a post once every couple of days, like check. Putting up a reel every day or once in a while, check. Going live when you can, check. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do think that there's these features that these things like because you're kind of hitting all parts of it versus just reels, story. That's my 2 cents on it.
Welcome to the Grant Owen Podcast, where we explore the world of entrepreneurship. Join us as we dive into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to start, grow, and scale a successful business. We're on a mission to share our experiences, failures, insights, and advice with others. Whether you're just starting out in your entrepreneurial journey or you're looking to take your business to the next level, tune in and join the conversation about what it takes to succeed in the world of business.
We going full throttle.
Welcome to the Grant Owen Podcast. Today, I got my buddy, my homie, my new best friend, Austin. Austin, what's good, man? Thanks for being on the pod. Thanks for being with me.
How's it going? I appreciate you throwing in that I'm your new best friend since we DM'd about it. So
We DM'd. I think the best friend mark comes at FaceTime. Once you FaceTime impromptly, like you're not
for
like,
sure.
You're not like, I have FaceTime people and they haven't answered, and I'm like, guess it's not.
Best friend status removed.
Guess the feeling is not mutual. I want to talk
man.
all things agency. I want to talk all things content and all things agency.
Sure.
Here's the spiel. Give me a little bit of a background about how you got started in the creative biz, what you've been doing, because you've been in this for a hot second, and you've been specifically in Las Vegas doing it for a hot second, right? Can you just give me like a rundown of your background and what got you into where you're at now with the agency mindset?
Sure. So I'll give you a little bit more because there's a little bit of a build up to it and there's a reason behind it. So
Okay.
So I worked for Apple for a number of years, and the reason I bring that up is because when I worked for Apple, I realized that I had kind of like this nerdy side to my brain that I didn't really know it existed. So like that got me into more of the tech world and doing that sort of thing. And because I got that job with Apple, it catapulted me into this other job with a startup company out in San Francisco. I still worked out of Las Vegas, and I ran like Nevada and surrounding areas, but it also made it so I traveled a lot. And in the beginning, my wife had mentioned, she's like, hey, we should get a camera like for our family. And so anything that's over $100, I have to research so much to where I either find exactly what I want or I talk myself out of it. That's like, it's a little dramatic, but like it's not that far off. So I found this camera and it was great, and I learned how to use it, and then like I got frustrated, sold it, and then bought another one like 2 months later. Learn how to use that, and I traveled with it all the time when I was traveling for work. So like I was on planes a lot. I was in places like I'd be in Oregon or Washington, or went to Alaska a few times. I went to Hawaii a few times. So like I took my camera everywhere I went with me, because I wanted to learn how to use it. So, and it was just this cheap. It was a Canon SL2, and I learned everything I could about it. I even shot weddings with it, and it's the entry level camera, but like I was good enough, and they weren't paying me enough for it to be super awesome. So anyway, I worked for that tech company for a while. Like learned a lot about it, and then started doing stuff on the side, like doing photos with friends, and like I did family photos and stuff like that. And then in 2020, I had another kid, and then decided to work with a buddy of mine that was in the house flipping investing world. So working with him, I was helping him find like off market properties, but also we were doing just films of the houses, like before and afters, and how they do things and that sort of stuff. And like I was putting videos together. And then that took me to working with some other house flippers here in Las Vegas, luxury guys. I had already kind of jumped into the content creation stuff. So I started working with them full time and filming everything, putting out YouTube videos and podcasts and short form. And at one point with just that one, we were putting out 21 videos a week. So about 90 videos a month just with these guys. It was a lot, but like I learned a lot really, really fast. And then,
So they just were pure volume.
yeah. And at the time, like Instagram and TikTok, like that was working. Like we were putting out 3 videos a day and like getting interactions and getting questions, and people dogging on you for whatever reason, and like just kind of pumping it through. So
Yeah.
so that was kind of like I was like, oh, like I could do this. Like I know this world. Like I've learned quite a bit about it. And then I met a guy that runs a SEO company in Utah, and just kind of on the side, he asked if he could kind of white label my services. Mm-hmm. So I was like, that seems weird, but let's go ahead and try it. So
Yeah.
I was putting content together for some of his clients that they were using as like SEO content as well.
Nice.
And then there was a couple of clients that he had that I was working with that like their videos were going nuts. And I was like, maybe we know how to do this. And at the time, like I had a buddy who was an editor who still works with me, and like we were just cranking these things out and it was working. And then last year I decided to do this full time and do my own little agency, and there we go.
Did you know that it was called an agency when you did it?
Not a clue. Didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know what agency was until like 6 months ago. And even then, like even now, I'm like, I say it to people and they're like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, to be honest, I don't even know.
Yeah, that, and like I don't know if I even like that name, because like
I don't.
Agency has kind of like this. It has kind of like this derogatory.
I don't. Yeah.
You know what I'm
gross.
saying?
It's gross. It makes it sound like I'm just like outsourcing. It's like you outsource to outsources to outsource to outsources, and there's just like 1,000 different middlemen.
Oh
But
yeah.
then I realized like that's also just like that's like any service based thing.
Sure.
It's like even you go to the doctor, and like
Yeah.
half the time it's like the nurse that does everything, but the
Yeah.
doctor's the one that's getting paid and is like signing the paper.
Right.
That's kind of like what an agency is. It's like you have a practice, and then you're like, the work is being done under me, and it's happening, and you're going to
Right.
get better. Everything's going to be
Yeah.
healed. Your problem's
Yeah.
going to get solved. But does it really matter if it's a nurse practitioner or if it's this? Like, it makes it sound weird. But then, like,
Yeah.
when you think about it, like, every single business has that model. When I think of agency, I think of like staffing agencies. And that's
Yeah.
really gross. Staffing agencies
Or like ad
are so gross to me.
agencies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You know,
super
maybe
gross
that's
to
where
me.
it comes from, because it's like, oh, we can run your ads, and like you spend us all, give us all this money that isn't actually going towards ads, but you also
Yeah.
have ad spend, and
Yep.
that's not
That makes
everybody,
it-
but like,
I feel like SEO and ad agencies, they make me feel like it's like this, like, we have a template, and then we just like, you just give you the template, but then you're going to pay us a premium because our template's better than other people's templates.
and maybe it
like-
is, but you'd have to go through different
Yeah.
agencies and
Yeah.
make it work for you. Or if
Yeah, I
it's an
don't like
agency that's specific to your business world or whatever, like if it's an agency for chiropractors,
Yeah. Yes.
that
Well-
that I'm on board with.
What do you call it then? Because I tend to say like marketing company or like media company.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Probably because like most of what we do is like short form content, so it'd be like a
Yeah.
short form content agency. Creation
That sounds
agency.
even worse.
I
That
know.
sounds
That's
even
why I don't
worse.
say it.
That sounds so bad. That sounds like some it sounds like something from like there's like a Pakistan agency that's just like we're short form content. And I'm like, maybe it's because I get hit up in the DMs by those people all the time.
Oh,
But it's
all
like-
the time. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we can make you go viral, and I'm like,
Yeah, or
That's
it's
so
those
tough.
like those comments on your pages, which are obviously just to try to get you a response, so they can pitch you something.
yes, oh, yeah, yeah,
Like you have a video with captions and graphics, and the comment says, "Hey, this could really stand out if you had captions and graphics in these."
yes. Oh, dude, actually, the DM I get all the time is like, hey, I love your videos, but I think your editing needs to be fixed, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
thank you, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you and your private account with 100 followers. hitting me
Yeah.
up and saying,
It's
"My
just
editing
another like
sucks."
mass DM service. That's all it
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah. Anyway, so you call it a short form content agency. What does that even mean? Because everyone at this point knows what short form is. Anyone that would watch this podcast knows what short form is. But what's the value prop for your demographic? Because you're mostly working with real estate agents, right?
Right now, yeah, or people that have
Yeah.
some sort of link to the real estate world. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's like the
So-
value prop for real estate?
That's a good question. So it's changed a little bit because, like, I also don't want to be just a guy like, hey, I'll come and edit your videos. Like,
Yes.
that's part of it, but that's not really what it is. Like,
Yeah.
because anybody can edit your videos. Like, that's one thing. So it's more of like helping somebody understand the things that they want to tell, but helping them tell them in a way that other people will want to continue to watch, if that makes any sense. So like all real estate agents talk about the market updates, the what do you call it? The interest rates that you can get on loans. Like everybody else talks about that same stuff. And that's fine. And I know that it's necessary, but like, let's talk about like who you are. Like, yeah, you're a real estate agent. Like one of my newest clients, like I'm excited to work with him because our first kind of meeting we had together, he was like, I really work really hard because I don't like working. I work really hard so that I can do other things. Like he's like, I'm part of the PTO and I do a lot of cleanup in my community. Like I'm super active in my community. He mentions like how his HOA doesn't do hardly anything, but it's him that puts on these parties, and it's him that kind of has these things in his neighborhood that like now the neighborhood expects. So like, let's talk about all that stuff. And like, yeah, we'll sprinkle in that you're a real estate agent, but like, let's help people understand more about who you are and why you do what you do, because it's not you, if that makes sense. Like, just because that's
hating
what you
on
do for a
HOA
job.
content actually is popping off right now.
Oh, some of the
Anything
craziest
you can hate on
videos.
if you can do like, if you find any video, like I think I saw one recently that went viral where it was like he paid an HOA fine with like pennies or something like that.
Oh yeah, like at the guy's doorstep. I saw that one too.
Yeah. That was just like, I feel like that kind of content just absolutely explodes.
And it'll weirdly get into other countries because like in like Australia and in parts of Europe, like they don't have HOAs. So that gives this weird engagement because they're like, what is this HOA thing that these Americans are talking about?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I've seen that part too.
Here's my question to you, Austin. How does one make the perfect hook?
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. What?
No, I don't know. I don't know if there is a perfect hook. I think that a lot of times you've got to have, here's what I'm seeing at least lately, is a lot of people want to give their opinions. So what is it that you could start a video with that somebody will already have an opinion that they want to leave? Like I had a client where he starts off he tells us he tells about a story where he goes and is helping his dad buy a BMW, and how buying a BMW is like the worst experience, while buying a Tesla is like buying a MacBook. Like you have brands in there already that people are really like loyal to. So that'll pull you in. Stuff that's like somewhat relatable. I know that like the controversy thing is also popular. I don't really get on board with a lot of that stuff just because I think it's become really, really fake. But I don't think I have a good answer for what a perfect hook is.
Yeah. I
Do you? Do you have the answer? And you're just, I don't know what it is.
I know what I've learned.
Yeah.
I know what I've learned. And I've learned what the perfect hook is from people that are better than me. I have not been able to find there's not someone I can see that implements it perfectly every single time.
Yeah.
And I don't always I see great hooks, and I sometimes don't see great follow-up videos. So the video still doesn't perform well, even if the hook is amazing. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people put a ton of emphasis on hooks as the savior. It's kind of similar to like YouTube, where the title and the thumbnail is really important. Mm-hmm. But like the intro is also just as important. So like that's like super relevant. And in my opinion, I think a lot of people try to download the hooks. Here's 50 viral hooks from TikTok. Here's all these things. Here's all these templates and stuff. And I was one of those people that ate those up because I was like, hey, I don't know about this. Let me see what I can. And it's just like, nope, that's not it. It's not going to equate to a good video. I do know that I can tell when something's going to hit pretty immediately just because of the amount of content I've consumed. Mm-hmm. So when a hook does hit, it is undeniable. Usually there's something not shocking in it, but there's something that makes me pause because there's something that's misplaced. Either there's some extreme word that's used. Yeah. There's an extreme amount of conviction that's communicated. There's two things that don't belong together. That's something that Adley talks about, where it's like, a lot of her videos, and she's like that prank girl that she and her husband make prank videos. She gets like 2 billion views every single month. She's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
And every single time she says like they've calculated it where it's like they, you know, like there's one video they had where they have like a ribeye, like an uncooked rib thing, and she's bringing it to her engine of her car, and that's like and they use that as like a visual hook, and it's like what in your mind you're subconsciously like what's a rib thing with a car engine, what is that going to do with each other? And I think the video ends up being like they end up cooking the ribs on the way to Thanksgiving or something like that. It's fake. It's staged.
Yeah.
But to pretend like that's not, it's convincing enough they acted. A lot of their videos, it's like the husband is like, he has a drill with some weird object. It's like a drill and like his sofa.
Yeah.
A mega viral one was like a drill with a guitar.
Yeah, and he put it like in the ceiling or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like there's like not any point to it. There's no point to it. It's completely staged. But as the viewer, you're like, what's happening here?
For sure.
I think when I think about hooks and viral content, anytime I see one of their videos, and I've studied their videos, and anytime I see one of their videos, I'm like, that makes sense.
That's also, no, I mean, I agree with you because they do have other ones because I know exactly, like there's a few that like the husband has done that I can remember right off the top of my head where like he starts the video with like a drill and drills a hole into his wall or his daughter's wall.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and the hole was the little clock guy with like an actual clock in the very end.
Yeah.
So like that part of I get, because they do have a lot of visual hooks or things that like they're destroying something, or like they take the time to attach 2 spoons together to a drill so they can hold an egg so they can what do you call it? So they can scramble the egg inside the shell before they crack it. Like,
yes,
it's all really dumb.
Which, by the way, that's not going to work. Like, that's not gonna, like that's just like like from a physics perspective, that's like just impossible. Yeah. But when you're doom scrolling on social media, that's usually it. Or I think they also play with stuff where it's like someone who's about to jump off the edge of something, and then they pretend like they're really scared, and it's just like a retention hack of like a suspense. Like that's just a lot
for sure.
That tends to be what a really good hook is.
No, I agree, because a lot of those have like, a lot of those have action in them. But like if you're talking about hooks of
words,
like where people are sitting down in front of a camera, which I don't think will be as popular as it has been the last couple of years. I think it'll still have a place and it'll still work. But
it's I agree. I disagree with you. I think it's never going to go away. It's going to take new forms every single time. It's going to look different.
No. I agree. I agree with that. But I also think that like the last couple of years with the economy being weird, and I'm also speaking as more of like on the real estate side, so it's a little bit different. But like with so many people not actually doing deals and losing money and doing all that sort of stuff, like it made more sense to sit in front of a camera and tell the camera all the things that you should be doing or how you can do them or whatever. Where now it seems to be hitting off to where like, go show me the things that you've been talking about.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they're still talking head videos, but we're more out and about and doing things on site and that sort of thing.
I think the talking head videos is like easy content, and easy content's going to get less views. Mm-hmm. I think at the same time, what's never going to go away is big personalities.
Oh, yeah.
So like, or like really... like for example, if you were just to start making content right now and you put a Rode wireless mic in your beard, you're going to get views.
Yeah. Which
like
is funny because like that
1,000%.
thought has come through my brain so many times. But yeah,
I said the same thing. There's somebody else. Like I had a friend who had like a long ponytail, like a long rat tail.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, why are you not just taking it? Like these are assets. Alex Ramosi, he's just crazy buff.
Oh yeah.
So like, I'm sorry, like just if you're like, that's the first time I'm seeing this person, you can have no context into who he is. Mm-hmm. And if you just look at his freaking body, you're like, holy, what is happening here?
Oh yeah.
There's no shot this guy should be this massive and talking.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Like, I also agree though. It's like probably I tend to like the on the street or like
Gary
V style kind of like organic stuff because it's harder to do well.
Yeah.
It's harder. It's like anybody can put up a camera and just talk. Not many people can do it with like awesome personalities, and not many people, like even fewer people, are going to be willing to just go out and have someone filming them on camera around and just walk around and talk.
Yeah.
No one's willing to do that.
But I also think that that's a different set of skills to be able to go out and get people to talk to you, first of all, but then also have something interesting enough to talk about versus just because there's a lot of people that hang out outside of bars and stuff on the weekends because those people are a lot more likely to talk to you and stuff like that. So I agree with that because that's a different kind of skill set that I don't think that is super.
It's like,
I don't know.
It's like new reality TV.
Yeah.
But I still think it demands a personality, and the people that are able to do talking head the best and keep people's attention that way generally are going to make a ton more money. Like because it's easy. It's one thing to do something crazy and have a brand from it. Like Mr. Beast isn't this like super like impressive person where you just watch him talk and you're like, oh wow, this is really crazy. But all the stuff he does, no one has the balls to do.
For sure.
So that's like, I think, not to say that that's easier, but I think it's harder to just to be a personality that's like, I don't know.
Stick with it.
And stick with it.
Because I think there's people that want to be personalities and they put on some sort of persona and then after a while it just kind of disappears because it wasn't actually anything.
Like who?
I don't know. Now that you asked me that, I don't have any examples, but
I see people like taper off. Like Andrew Tate used to be a joke,
mm.
and then he became kind of like a thought leader.
In some circles, yeah.
I'm just saying, like he used to just be like intentionally like ridiculous and audacious, and then he became like, I have high values and treat women with respect and all this other stuff, and so he like tried to pull a 180.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, okay, so let me ask you this then. So when you see talking head videos, like what is it that you want to see from those? Is it like, could you just like, do you want to have some sort of a hook that reels you in right away that's like somewhat controversial? Like, because like you and I probably watch a lot of content, not only from the people that we work with, but just on the outside because we're trying to just see what's going on and get ideas and that sort of thing.
Something my agency does is, and I've been having us do this more aggressively the last couple weeks, on Mondays and Fridays. I assign 2 creators in the business niche or just any niche, and I have each member of my team research that, and I have them identify hooks. I have them identify context, and I'm looking for the top viewed videos for that account. So, and it has to be like, I'm looking for outliers. So for example, like Alex Ramosi gets a ton of million views on his accounts just because he's a big creator right now. Right. But like, I'm looking for still his top 5. And so like for him, if you have a million followers, 100,000 views is not that much.
Sure.
But if you have 10,000 followers, 100,000 views is quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I want whatever that outlier number is, whether it's a 10x or a 3x or a 2x multiplicative. I want the context. I want how many views it has. I want the hook. I want what the comments are saying, generally if they're negative or positive.
Mm-hmm.
And then what my team's comments are. Why did this work? And then every Monday and Friday, we go through and we look through all that footage and we kind of assess and say, why did this go viral? Why did this work? And I do it with a bunch of different people, like different contexts. Partially, it's like, what do we steal? Because today, for example, we did one of the people we did was John Maxwell. John Maxwell is this massive guy. He's like as big as Tony Robbins. He's a massive personality in terms of respect, but he's not like a good social media influencer. And so everything he communicates is extremely superlative. So the only reason that people like him is because of the respect they had for him a decade ago and all the stuff that he's done in the last 30, 40 years. as big of a motivational speaker as Tony Robbins, right? Kind of like within that same ballpark range. Because I've noticed that with every coach, they all funnel into the same trees. So it's like you either are in the Tony Robbins tree or you're in the John Maxwell tree. And they overlap a little bit, but like at the end of the day, all motivational coaching, all motivational stuff funnels under one of those two. With that being said, watch his content, and his content sucks. The outlier content is usually like under 20 seconds. There's nothing happening in the reel, and it's just because of the authority that they have. So to me, I hear and I look at that, and I'm like, that's an opportunity. John Maxwell is the type of client that'd be easy to like get big wins for, because if you just increase volume and you increase quality on edits, that's not crazy. And it also is like, okay, maybe for my clients that speak more superlatively, that speak more from a mental mindset perspective, maybe I need to shorten the video length and do like 20-second videos rather than 45-second videos. Like maybe I should remove context and go straight for quotes because that makes it more shareable.
For sure.
Which is the reason why most of the videos are going viral on Instagram these days, is because of shares.
Right.
So, and then I also do like the other person we did Lewis Howes. That was really interesting. A lot of shares. They're implementing a lot of ManyChat stuff. And then I looked at Diary CEO Steven. And
yeah, okay, yeah.
And his stuff is popping off. He does a lot of Sizzler reels. And I think his stuff just pops off because his podcast at this point has so many like really dedicated fans. And his podcast guests are so interesting. And still his best videos are generally about sex.
Really?
Yeah. His best performing videos are about sex. Really? Yeah, so and that's the other thing that's kind of tends to be the case. It's like a good reminder for my team is like we're looking for top of funnel topics. So a topic that everyone has a relationship with.
Yeah.
If it's money, have it or want it. Health, have it or want it. Relationships, have it or want it. And then it seems like even on a different level, like there's relationships both with spouse, parent, or kid.
Yeah.
And then there's sub niches within those, but like sex is a big other category where everyone has a dynamic with it. And we're I don't know what it is, but like we're more inclined to want to learn about like, if you have a hook that says like, so this is why you're not having good sex lately.
Yeah.
Like odds are someone is going to watch the rest of it because they are having good sex and like they want to know if they're
get validation from it.
They want to get validation from it, or they're like, "Oh, sweet, this can fix my problem." So, that's what I like. It's just helpful to study the best accounts, and we separate it. We do comedy, we do talking head, we do podcasts, we do like I try to flip it around just because it's like a lot of times it's not in the edit, it's in the subject.
I agree with that as well.
So. I don't know why I went on that tangent, but
no, dude, I was all for
research?
it. Like, what's that?
You were just asking about the research, like the research element, like how much we look into it, how much content?
My question was like, what do you like? Like, what do you like to consume? I mean, you told me about like what you guys do.
If you look at my feed is almost exclusively like comedy clips.
Oh, really?
I like comedy clips a lot. Yeah.
Does it shift for you depending on like what's going on in your life?
Not really.
No. Always comedy?
Not really. Yeah, and generally like each algorithm kind of gets trained to the same. Like I've noticed like over time, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook all kind of get trained to the same stuff. But I am trying to look more analytically at edit design. And specifically like sound design and trying to like notice more about sound design in certain videos.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Usage of B-roll, like where to put B-roll. I I have the new rule where like we're just not going to use stock footage anymore.
Same. We don't use any stock footage. It's either comes from the client or we just don't use it.
And I want to integrate more movie clips.
Yep, that's the other thing that we do. And I'll send you one that we did recently. And what's awesome about it, it didn't go. That's always the hard part too. Is like, this is great video. Like, it's got to get some traction. It didn't really get a lot of traction. But when he read this quote, so the client was up in front of a class teaching. And he reads this quote from that movie, The Arrival. And the cadence in which he read the quote was almost exactly how the cadence was of the movie clip that we added into it. So it just fit so well into it.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah. That's like, to me, that's like the biggest thing is like figuring out how do we enhance stories, because I swear to goodness, if I see more of the same B-roll or the same stock footage,
the same
like,
shaking hands, the same going into an office.
Yeah, it's just like it's an immediate like, I'm just not gonna let it happen anymore. And I just like every one of those videos gets rejected.
Yep.
And so what I have my team doing right now, I don't know if you did this as well, but like I have my creative directors, my creative managers. They're like going and curating and getting clips. So it's like every time someone says influencer, here is a folder of footage that you can use for influencer, and it's going to contain Kylie Jenner. It's going to contain Andrew Tate, someone that has like just like any name that we can have that has relevance that personifies it.
Yeah.
If we want rich person, we're going to have this. If we want luxury car, we're going to have this. If we're going to have anything religious, we're going to pull in. I just want to like curate that, just because it's, I don't know. I've noticed that with context, when you're working with people in other countries, it's harder. And so that's why like on my, like I need American people to help
That's
push context so that whether my workers are in a third world country or Europe or wherever they are at, it's like there's just it's like there's no excuse other than you just didn't go and collect the asset.
That's a really cool idea.
I just want to simplify their process as much as possible.
I used to have this website saved. So like you could type in a phrase into this website. I don't know if it's still being updated like it used to. It's called playphrase.me. And you can type in any phrase that like you need to pull a clip from, and it will it's pretty quick too, and it'll just give you this long clip of all these videos that have that phrase or something really, really close in it. So you could, like, if you wanted to pull it from a movie.
That's fire. That's fire. Because that's almost what I need is like a, you know, like how you can look for a GIF and it's really easy to just pull a GIF anywhere. Yeah. Basically want that, but for like B-roll.
Yeah. Let's see here. What's a good phrase? I don't know if this, I haven't used this in a minute. What's a good phrase that like you...
make money online. No.
Let's see if it'll let me put this. Yeah.
You already got it?
Yeah. And it's got 427 clips I can pull from.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Play.me, what'd you say?
So play phrase, playphrase.me.
Phrase.me. This looks super wonky, but I'm all in.
I mean, I'm always playing with new stuff where I can. Like I just typed in like, if you don't mind, and put that in there, like, and it took me to a Star Wars clip. Like, that's such a huge thing. Like, I could grab that Star Wars clip and
1,000%.
You know, do stuff like that all day long.
1,000%.
Yeah. So it's not the best one. I have played with ones that are better, but this is just the one I have saved.
Yeah, I'm curious how much it's updated, but like that's in my mind, like that's like the key for finding. It's almost like humor based too, because at least that's what I've noticed with. There's 10% of editing that everyone can identify as shit. You don't have to know videos. You don't have to make videos to be like, that is a shitty video, right? Mm-hmm. Then there's 80% that no one can really tell the difference of unless you're in it like us, right? If you're
Sure.
in it, then you're like, yeah, I can see that that's sub 50, that's upper 50, right?
Yeah.
That's below standard, that's above standard. And then there's 10% that is undeniably Oscar level.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, you're like, and anybody watching it is able to identify that is a top tier edit. It's better than almost anybody else. Great job.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how to each week, each month increase our standards so that like we're only ever like I need to only ever be in that top 10%. And
But then I
it's
guess
hard.
you could ask the question too though, like if you're always upping your editing, does it ever get to the point where your audience, it doesn't make a difference to them? Because like it makes a difference to people like you and me,
Yes.
because like we get it and we see it and all that stuff. But then
Yes.
there's people that like I do enjoy movies. I don't watch a lot these days because I can only last like 30 minutes before I take a nap. But like I do like movies, but I'm also not like super hard to please when it comes to like
Yeah.
the content of a movie.
Yeah.
Like if it looks beautiful, like that's a different thing.
I
But,
don't
like
need,
some people,
we can have Dune, but then we can also have
yeah.
like something else that's chill.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that that's also another area that is interesting, because I think that at least on the social media side is something that is still interesting, because like I love a good edit. Like I love
Yeah.
watching beautiful videos. Like I've been
Yeah.
trying to film things that are darker. I always love bright, vibrant, contrasty stuff. But lately I've been like, I'm gonna try to film myself in like lower light, darker
Yeah.
places, just to see if it gives me any sort of emotional reaction when I watch it back.
I liked
You know.
you've been doing some cool stuff outside.
Love
Like that
outside.
one you did
Yeah.
when you did the one out at night
Yeah.
in the desert. That was freaking rad. With the
Thanks.
just like everything going off that one light. What is that
Yeah.
light, by the way? Is that $1,000?
No, dude, it's $50.
What?
Are you talking about that little the little short one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have behind me here. And it's RGB.
Wait, go
That I
pick
had
it
like
up. Go,
that I had
go pick it up.
Here, I'll lower these.
That's $50.
Yeah. Yeah, each one of these is $50. Oh, can you see it?
Barely, kind of, not really. Oh, that's freaking rad. Okay.
Yeah, they're like
I thought you had the one that was like a full circle. It was like completely a cylinder. Do I know what I'm talking about? Maybe
which
I
one are you
don't.
talking about?
It was like 3 posts ago. You never post, and by the time this comes out, you'll hopefully post.
I'm trying to get better with all that. Because I'm kind of, yeah. The one where I just have it set up on a stool?
Yeah.
That's one of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Say less. Send me a
See,
link.
it's
Say less.
some magic you can do with editing.
On a
right?
budget.
Yeah.
I to your initial statement talking about how like quality, there's a certain tier quality that people don't care about. That's 100% context dependent on who the audience is. So like,
Yeah.
for example, there's the make money online guru guys. I know some guys that are doing content in the email marketing space, in the SMA space, in the, like anything in the online e-commerce kind of realm, targeting a younger demographic client. First off, which is a mistake because you're targeting poor people and cheap people and people with low retention, right? So three red flags within those demographics. But I've seen them put out a ton of YouTube content, highly edited, big thumbnails, big graphics, inching their way up to 5K followers. Sorry, 5K subscribers, inching each time. And sometimes they have a base of like 100K plus on another platform. But just transitioning to YouTube, they have to it's like just like a huge grind to get people to convert over. Meanwhile, I have a client and we put out I will say, shittiest content on the planet. Like it is like from a aesthetic perspective, bro. He's recording on a Logitech Brio. There's no editing involved. I slam an intro and an outro. and I do some keyword stuff, and we have the thumbnail and a title.
Yeah.
That's it. But the people that vibe with it, like he zoomed to 5K subscribers, which is not much, in a tiny niche with zero
these
effort.
These days, I think that 5,000 subscribers is a big deal. Depending on
don't know.
time frame, like
I
how,
don't know.
what in a year, in 6 months,
It's like 6 months, yeah.
big deal. I'm gonna say that's a big deal.
Yeah, with no audience anywhere else. But like hyper dedicated, the retention on all of his videos is crazy, right? But none of them are there for the edit. They're just there for the content in the video.
For sure.
There's one of my favorite accounts. He's Whiteboard Finance. His name is Marco. He's about to cross 1 million subscribers. My dude didn't have a studio setup. His videos are unedited. He, for the longest time, had 0 thumbnails, and it was literally a whiteboard behind him, being like this and this, and just do this, and like do. And his base did not care. They were just like, we're going to get to 1 million subscribers. I think those are like the easy. First off, in my mind, those are easy clients to win for, because it's like you're just gonna, if you just say, hey, let me just add volume to the Rolodex,
yeah,
it's gonna crush for them. But in some cases, some people are like, they don't need it, because if they started to do hyper edited stuff, their base would be like, why are you? That's not what I followed for.
For sure.
So the lack of quality is a pro to it. On the other hand, but it is like, if your demographic of people that you care about, that you're targeting, is a certain age, you got to hit. If your competitors are Iman Gadzhi and Alex Ramosi,
oh yeah,
you're the only way you're going to compete is to at least try to be somewhere in that same ballpark.
Right. Yeah.
No, which is tough, but that's why we have jobs.
But all these things that we're talking about, I think are, dude, I just looked at the Whiteboard Finance. Like, there's not a short on his page. That's crazy.
No, dude.
Yeah. Sorry. All these things that we're talking about, though, like, I think that's the difference of working with people like you and me versus just somebody who can edit your videos, is because these are the nuances that you and I talk about or look for or are interested in, because it's not just another, and I'm going to use the A word again. It's not just an editing agency.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. It's a branding aspect. And to your point, what I most recommend is a blend of like hyper produced, hyper simple. Like, I want to start with like, if you're posting once a day, a hyper produced piece of content, a few times a week, I'm down if you just pick up your phone and talk to it.
Dude,
because people connect with both.
I've had this same conversation recently, because the way that I explained it to somebody, this was a while ago, but like, imagine all the features. Let's just look at Instagram. Imagine all the features on Instagram are just these little check boxes, and the more check boxes that you use, the more that Instagram likes that, right? So it's like, I want to, putting up a story every day, checkbox. Putting up a post once every couple of days, like, check. Putting up a reel every day or once in a while, check. Going live when you can, check. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do think that there's these features that these things like, because you're kind of hitting all parts of it versus just reels, story. You know? So that's my 2 cents on that.
I think the audience also gets bored of stuff pretty quick. Like, if you do the same thing over and over again, people get bored of it. I noticed that with clients. If like I do the same type of video for a month, like by the end of that month, they're like, I'm tired of this place. I'm tired of this scene. I'm tired. Like, I want a diversity of content. And that's why I like throwing in so many different elements of like, okay, let's get some interview stuff. Let's get some podcast stuff. Let's get some talking head stuff. Let's get some organic stuff.
Are you saying that the client gets bored of it, or the viewer?
Viewer does.
Okay.
Viewer gets bored. Viewer gets bored when they're saying, I expect this from this person. Like, for example, later this week, I'm going to record in this new studio thing, my office, my new house, my new office, right?
Sweet.
I'll put up a painting, I'll put some lights, I'll do the whole stuff. But it'll probably even I'll probably get more views than in a previous video, just because the scene is different.
Potentially.
Just because the location is different. If I do a different editing style, it's the same thing. If I do different fonts, like that's why I struggle with like just do the same font, just do the same thing.
Yeah.
It needs some diversity because some things call for like simplicity, some things call for complexity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every account needs to have like every big brand needs to have a blend of like everything's a drop in the well. So it's like how many different drops can I do to see what's actually going to splash?
I agree with that.
But it's the people that are like, I'm going to be every day. Like if you, Austin, I swear to goodness, you put out a video yesterday. It was kind of like a vlog style.
Yeah.
I swear if you do like a daily vlog on Reels,
Yeah.
it'll pop.
Yeah. So that's part of the, like, I've got quite a bit filmed of that. Cause one of my brothers who is very creative and I wish he would do more with it because he's very talented, but, he's doing other things, which is totally fine. But, he was like, why don't you and I do it? Like, we were talking about it. He was like, cause we talk most days, like when I'm driving to clients or whatever. And he was like, you should just set up a camera in your car and like, let's just film our conversation. And because sometimes we talk about cool stuff, you know, being dads or being husbands or just being alive, you know?
Yeah.
And so like I've got a little bit with that and I just liked it. Like in my caption, I mentioned how it's hard for me to film myself, but, that is a lot easier to film.
Isn't that so dumb though? Like,
It's so dumb because I'm the guy
feel the
that's
same
always
thing.
telling my clients, like, you got to get on video. Like, you look great. You know, the only difference is I don't have somebody cheering me on. It's just me.
Yeah,
You know?
I know.
So,
I swear to like you need a you for you. The amount of times I say that to somebody, like I need a me for me.
yeah.
I would kill for one. That'd be like the easiest thing ever. I'm gonna try filming with Ryan McGinn soon.
Nice.
Because he's like, because I did that for him, and he was just like, no one wants to sit with me for 4 hours, and like talk content and just do it. Like not even my team. My team doesn't even want to do that. I'm like, I get it. And so I think I'd like to trade chairs with him and just like take the content, but I think that's like insanely valuable. It's just being like someone else who's not like, I'm going to decide what's good. I'm going to decide what hits. Someone who can actually view you objectively. Because
For sure.
when I have to set up the camera and hit record, I'm like, I feel the same thing. I'm like, oh, I feel weird. What am I going to say? Do I look good today? Do I sound like I've had allergies for the past 5 days? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's the same exact hesitation, and I just need someone to be like, Grant,
Yeah.
shut up. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I agree, dude. It is weird because we all have those thoughts, and it's funny that phrase that you said. I don't think I've thought about it that way. Like how'd you put it? Have a me for me sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Dude, because if you lived in Florida, the issue is I'm never going to move to Las Vegas. Are you ever going to move out of Las Vegas?
It's possible, but I mean, my wife and I love it here. Like she's
busy there, I'm sure.
She is busy here.
Clients in Vegas.
Yeah,
Probably
that
crazy.
and she's talked about opening up her own. So she's a nurse practitioner for a weight loss clinic, and she's talked about opening up because here in Nevada you can as a nurse practitioner opening up her own clinic that does like hormone therapy and weight loss and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fat people in Vegas.
There are.
That checks out.
There's fat people everywhere in America.
There's fat people everywhere.
Maybe not so many in Miami. I don't know.
I'm not in Miami. Do you think I'm in Miami?
I thought you said you moved to Miami.
No, I'm in St. Pete.
Oh, okay.
I'm in St. Pete.
Gotcha.
Miami's degen. Actually, not as. It's almost as degen as Las Vegas. Though Las Vegas is pretty degenerate.
I mean, if you go like the closer you get to the strip, it's like that. I mean, you
I don't
find
know,
degenerates anywhere though.
It's true. I guess that's true. Did I tell you I stayed in like that worst part of Vegas one time?
At the
Did I tell you
Excalibur, where'd you stay?
I stayed on what you know that bridge where there's like 5,000 homeless people under it. There's like a bridge. It's not like a river, but it's like
it's like a wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like it's actually pretty close to the Sphere.
Yeah. There's like all those
So
underground people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I got an Airbnb, and it's supposedly a 5-star Airbnb. and I went there and I got an Uber from the airport, and the Uber said, like, "Are you sure you want to go there?" I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Are you sure? Because that's like not a good, like that's like the worst place in Vegas to be."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh no!" And then he waited for me to get into the gate because he was like, "You finna get stabbed." And then the worst part was that I got locked out of the Airbnb, so I couldn't even get in the first night. So last minute, I had to get another Uber, and I stayed at one of the casinos, like one of the crappier casinos.
Like on that end, like by the stratosphere?
No. But I was like, I got another Uber, and the Uber was like, yeah, just like if you tried to walk it, you were gonna get stabbed. And I was like,
yeah, we don't go down there.
It was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and I was like, I'm never getting an Airbnb in Vegas again. That's like
so there are down in that area there are some fun places to go, but it's like they're like few, and like you don't really like branch out. You don't like bar hop. Like you go to there's this place down there called Dino's, and it's like it is the ceiling, I swear, is like 4.5 feet high. Like it's so low. It's been smoked in for like 80 years.
How do you fit in there?
No, that's what was being exaggerated, But like it's a fun karaoke bar. So like there was a period of time like when I had first met my wife, and like she and her friends, like that's where the night would end up, is like at Dino's, and I'm just like, I don't want to go to Dino's again. But like it was the place to be for a minute, and anyway.
Is there a nice part of Vegas? Is there like a nice? Is there? Like
I live in a nice
residential
part. Yeah.
Is it like residential and a cool vibe?
Yeah, like where we live is awesome. Like we're kind of at the edge of town, like on the south side, like as you're going out to California. But like we know all of our neighbors. Like there's a lot of kids in our neighborhood. Like we've got so many parks around here. It was funny because when we first moved into this house, we met our next door neighbors like 2 or 3 weeks after living here, and they invited us over to dinner. And the place that we lived before here, it wasn't bad, but it just was like slowly getting worse. And it was funny because my wife had come in and she's like, "Hey, our neighbors just invited us over for dinner like next week." She's like, "Is this what it's like to live in a nice neighborhood?" Like it was just.
I've never had that. That's a different vibe, to be honest. Like nice
Super
neighbors,
cool.
Nice neighbors. That's a different.
And
Were
like
they younger? Are they older? Are they younger?
Oh, they're older. This is their second house.
And you still were like, did it feel like me with my parents, or did it feel like
no? They're a great time. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
And it's weird because we kind of look out for each other too. Like if my garage is open too late at night, like they'll text me or they'll just come over and close it or whatever, stuff like that.
I love that. Yeah. That's a good vibe. That's a good vibe.
It's good. You should come out. You should come at least experience the nice part of Vegas.
I want to experience. Yeah, I'll come out.
Not the you might get stabbed experience.
Yeah, I don't know. Like next, if I go to WealthCon, I'll hit you up because I also hate staying in a casino, bro. I hate.
Yeah. It's not
casinos
fun.
They're so gross.
Yeah.
They're so depressing. It's just like sad people. Like the worst part is like walking around and seeing families with kids.
Late at night?
Like,
yes.
Late at night, bro.
Dude.
And I'm like, there's a strip club right there. There's literally strippers. Like there's like 6 naked people on the street.
Yeah.
And you're just like, your kid's in a stroller with you, not asleep yet. And I'm like, what are we doing?
I don't get that either. I mean, do what you want to do, but like that I don't get. I don't get it.
That just seems weird. And that's my experience of Vegas. So I need to see the sane. Maybe I need to see the churched up part. I need to see like the good church people.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
Yeah. I need to find them. Yeah. But okay, first off, how can people find you? By the way, this might sound like a scuffed episode. I'm hoping people get value from this.
Sure.
The thing I want viewers to get is that the difference between Austin and guests I've had at different contexts is Austin's such a homie, and I was like, dude, I need to do a podcast this week. I literally texted you 20 minutes ago and was like, hey, can we run it?
Yeah.
This is going up this week, and I'm just glad that it's cool that we can literally just talk shop nonstop. And some people, especially people that are like wanting to think about content, that'll be awesome. If there's any agency owners that are like us, hit us up because I want to connect with as many agency owners like Austin as possible. And if you vibe with this kind of content, let me know. But Austin, where can people find you? Where can people hit you up? How can people work with you?
So easiest way to contact me is just looking at my Instagram. So my Instagram is Austin TR. So AUSTIN, T like Tommy, R like Romeo. That's not my middle name. That's not my last name. That's just what I used for it. So yeah, Austin TR. But dude, going off of what you said, 100% agree with that. Because I used to always think that like, even like in the photography world, it's like people don't want to share their locations for where they take photos or whatever. And I'm like, I get that to a point, but like, I'm so far past it. I'd rather work with somebody. Like if I'm not going to work with you, if you don't want to work with me, that's totally fine. But like, I would love to send you to somebody that I trust. Like, let me send you somewhere. Yeah. So I'm all about that all day long. So like, like with
Austin
you
has the greatest, if you're just listening to this, Austin has the greatest beard. In fact, that's how I met you, because I looked across, I was at WealthCon and I was in networking mode and I was like, I got to find somebody. Looked across the room and the guy you were talking to, he's also pretty cool. He wore like the penis shape hat, and that was like his thing for a while until
Who was I talking to?
You know the guy, he does comic stuff, comic content.
No.
He's a big comic book guy. He does the funk guy, the funk merch selling. You know who I'm talking about?
No. Are you sure? I think I would have remembered that.
I know for a fact. Because I also know it's like, because he got bullied. He went viral pretty soon after that, multiple times, and got bullied into like not doing that hat anymore, not wearing that hat.
Man, I don't want to mess up my search history if I look up funk penis hat.
No, but like you're following him. You're 100% following him. He's in Vegas. He's a Vegas guy.
Really?
And he sells like funk pop stuff.
Like apparel?
No, like the toy stuff. The toys. What a scuffed ending to this episode. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, but he doesn't do it anymore. Like he was like an Amazon dropshipper.
What? Okay, who are you thinking of?
Well, I can't think of like. You got to help me out because now I am so.
I can't end this episode without finding him, and my phone is being used as a camera, so I'm really trying to. Lydia, this might all be chalk.
Sorry,
but we keep actually keep it in, Lydia. It's just good.
So help me with more keywords there.
So he went viral. What did Omar get taken down? Interesting.
Spotted some.
He went viral talking about. Actually, multiple times. One of his viral videos is about like he does a lot of content about anime.
Man, I don't know. Are you sure? Is it? It's not Funkaholics, is it? Is this their page?
No, it's not like a page. But gosh, I'm looking through your follows.
I don't think it was me.
You were talking to him. You were hanging out, and I walked up to both of you because he looked cool. He looked kind of artsy, and I was like, I looked at him and I looked at you, and I said, "That guy's got a cool beard." And so I walked up to you and I said, "Dude, what's up? I like your beard." And that was how we met.
No, I remember that part, but man, if you find who it is, because I cannot even put an idea together here for that.
I'm scrolling.
But no, I remember, yeah, just kind of chatting it up. One thing that I will say, like one of the things I noticed about you is like when you do get into network mode, like that is like you're in it, like to be, to network and like that. So that is, I think that's a good trait to have.
Nerd Alert Kyle, that's who it was.
All right, let me look this up.
And Kyle Treadwell's a homie. He has really weird engagement on his content because he keeps doing such random content. Like he'll have a lot of videos do like 300 views, and then a couple of videos just get like millions.
Oh,
it's not fake.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And now you see he wears just like a normal hat, and it's like a pretty chill hat. But like, look at
now I know what you're
videos.
talking about. His beanie.
His beanie, yeah.
Oh,
he wears like, yes,
yeah.
yes. Because like whenever he goes viral, half the comments are like, "This guy's hat is so dumb," and he like,
dang, I like him. Yeah, I like
him
know
too.
That all
and
that
his hat
happened.
is, I like his hat, and that both a combo of your beard and his hat were like these guys are artsy and cool. And that was my, I'm going to go talk to the artsy cool people.
Yeah, because he was doing stuff like on the streets too with his like fiance and stuff. Yeah.
I don't really know. All I know, he was there, and then he was like, I met him, and he had gotten a video that got a milli, and then
Yes.
after that, a couple months later, he kept on getting videos that were millies. He got like, one was like a 10 million video of him showing the Toy Story ad for Thanksgiving, like Toy Story NFL combo, and he got like 10 million views on that.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah.
So
No, but
whenever
I
someone,
okay.
whenever
Now
someone
I
gets a
put that all
million views,
together.
I'm jealous. As soon as you pop off, I'm gonna be super jealous of you. It's gonna be
I've got a
cool.
couple of milli videos.
You do?
Yeah. They're-
On yours? Of your
Yeah.
profile?
Yeah, I think I've got 2 videos that hit like 3.5 million each, but they're older
No
ones.
shot.
Yeah. They're both really simple. There's nothing to them. Like one of the ones, it's still my favorite one. We were at a park and my son, have you ever seen those little, like, you know, those, like you have 2 cans with a string in between, like the little telephone thing?
Yeah.
I had my son go on the other side and I was like, hey, Tommy, like yell something at me. And then he puts his mouth up to it and he goes, attention, attention, I love you. And the reason that one popped off is because it's just such a shareable thing. There's nobody in it. You can't see anybody. And
Could you even see the kid?
no.
Oh, so just people were just used it as like they wanted to tell their person that they loved them.
Yeah. So that one, it got shared like, I don't know, 180,000 times. And the other part that was really cool is people started using that audio and like making cartoons out of it. And that was really cool. That was probably the cooler part of it. So,
Man.
because my wife and I
You
always
didn't-
say,
did you monetize?
no. My wife and I always say that like, where I was like, we love love, you know? And
Yeah.
so like when we can share a little bit of love, it's always good.
To be honest, I would do like a series of those,
But
and then just have them say various things. There's one account, I want to show it to you, where that's pretty much all he does. It's a comedian, and he just does these like dance videos, and he's like, Morgan J also does it, and he does these songs, like impromptu songs, and he's like, send this to someone if you're like kind of like if you're like a little gay for them or something like that. He just like, does like comedy bits.
yeah.
And that would be a hilarious, like, you could probably do a whole series. If you find that format works,
Yeah.
that would not be done. I see your other one. You have another one that's 3.5 milli.
Yeah, that was an old one. I think that one, the only reason that one went viral is because that was like at the early days of trending audio, and that sound, I was like, I know this sound's going to pop off, and it did.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
so-
there's literally nothing. It's just you and your wife. What is it?
Yeah.
What is it saying? Is it?
So the audio is like, it's this guy that used to be big on Vine, and he's still, I can't think of his name. He's big on TikTok and stuff still, but he has this song. He's like, something about,
All the things I love about my wife.
that's what it is, yeah. So he writes this song. He's like, I wrote a song about all the things I love about my wife, and he plays this beautiful piano, and like it sounds like he's gonna start singing it a few times, and then the song just ends. And so I played it while my wife and I are in frame, and she got the joke, and like she thought it was funny. But it's funny because in the comments, people like will send it to their buddies, or they'll comment like, this is so funny. But then there's also those dudes where it's like, oh great, just another misogynistic man bagging on his wife. It's like, okay, bro, like I think you missed the point, because first of all, she's in the video with me, and like
Yeah.
I don't think those things, or else I wouldn't tell her, you know. So
I actually love that. Yeah, well, because the couple content pops off like nothing else. Nothing else.
yeah,
Because half the time it's like, share this, like if it's shareable with someone that is your partner, like if it's shareable like that, it's 100% going to work. I need to find more people within that niche, because I feel like that content, I can't make that content. I might just try to rip some with my wife tonight.
dude. So my wife, I always, not always, too often, and I'm sorry to keep going. If we need to be done, just let me know.
No, I don't care. Keep going.
But the
Sorry, viewer.
yeah, too often, like I'll overcomplicate things. Where it's like I want to
Yeah.
do a little podcast with my wife, where it's not really a podcast. Like we just talk about things at night anyway. Where it's like
Yeah.
talking about our goals, or like she bought me these books called Goal Crazy. It's just like different way to format your day and that sort of thing. So like we talk about those and like our goals and like our kids or what we got going on. And but but I'm always like, oh, I gotta get this lighting just right and blah blah blah. Like, but now I'm just like, I'm gonna plug 2 mics into my H6 Zoom recorder. I'm gonna have you sit on the couch across from me, and I'll point my phone at you, or I'll point my camera at you, and I'll point my phone at me. We'll just record it. If nothing happens, if nothing else, it's a journal for us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to do anything with the footage.
Yeah. But I'm going to. But, you know, I'm just saying.
I need content, so I think I'm just going to rip that as well, because who doesn't want to watch that?
Plus, your wife
I found that more people like my wife than like me.
Same here, dude. Like, when you marry up, I'm not speaking for you, but, like, my wife's gorgeous. Like,
I did.
You know, like, and she's great on camera, because, like, she was a cheerleader in high school. Yeah. And so she's not awkward in front of the camera at all.
Yeah, you're missing out. That's easy content.
I know.
That's easy content. All right.
Sorry.
All right.
But yeah,
Cool.
all the ways. Competition. No. What is it? Is a collaboration over competition.
Yeah.
Is my mindset
And
lately.
if we merge her together, this will be a good documentary. Of
Yeah.
Whatever happens. I do think though that like you said this, but it's like I want to beat your ass, and every time you succeed with clients, I'm like, shit, what do I have to go learn from whatever Austin's doing, because he's doing something fire, and so I need to go steal it. But at the same time, I'd rather just be someone that's like, I'm gonna text you and be like, dude, congrats, this popped off, way to go, and then figure out, like, I'd rather talk to you or say like, hey, this is what I'm trying, and if it works for me, take it.
Dude,
like,
100%.
that's like such an easier process.
Yeah.
Than, because otherwise it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, we're making dumb videos. We're making stupid videos for clients that are paying good money to get seen. And so there's just not enough people out there like this. And if you're an agency owner, or if you're a freelancer especially, just go, like, you have to collaborate. You have to find homies that at least have the same values, maybe not even the same client types. Because sometimes that happens where it's like, I don't specialize in this, and this guy does. And so instead of me trying to create a service for it, I'm just going to send you the person that I know that would crush it for you. And that's like...
Yeah. And
Everybody
also,
wins.
on the freelancer side, like, make sure that you, like, hone in on your craft, and that you are paid what you are worth. Because too often, and that's such a hard thing to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I recently saw this post that I had commented on, and I've gotten a lot of interaction from this one comment that I made. Because this guy on there, he's like, with the guy who made the video, he's commenting about, like, one of his clients. He's like, I do this for $2,000 a month. I do this for $1,500 a month. I do this for whatever, and kind of breaks it down. And he goes, and I do all this on the side outside of my regular 9 to 5. And this kid was like, man, I do all this work for this, like, ATV company, and they pay me $2,500, and I'm doing these videos, and his work is great. And so I had messaged him. I was like, bro, I've been there, but, like, you gotta find someplace new, because you have the skills, and there are people that will value the skills that you've created, and you could probably have more clients, have more time on your side, and have more fun with it.
Yeah. But I disagree. I agree with that resolution. I disagree with the, like, what you would like, I disagree with charging what you're worth.
What
because
part?
I don't think freelancers recognize what they're worth. I don't think most freelancers understand value propositions.
Okay.
They think, like, project, how much time it takes me to do it, and what it requires of me. And then they look at their friends or look at people at a base level, and they say, what are these people charging, to decide whether or not that justifies it for them. And I think this happens at each tier. So, like, for example, I came up with my pricing based off of watching Ryan McGinn videos, because Ryan McGinn was doing short form agency stuff.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to start charging stuff like that, then in that same ballpark, I at least need to undercut that if I don't offer the same results, right? Or charge more than it if I offer more stuff, right? So that was my thought process. I even think that was limiting too, where it's like, you know what? If you look for clients that value that at $1,000, then you're worth $1,000, and your job is to find the highest level person that values that same piece of work at the highest price point available. So, odds are there's some kid out there that's 1,000 times more talented than me that will never make as much money as I am, because they're never going to position themselves with clients the same way I will. So it's like, if you solve problems for 9-figure people,
Yeah.
you're going to make more money than solving problems for 7-figure people. And at the end of the day, you are solving problems, whether you're a freelancer, an agency, or a worker. It doesn't matter. But like, your job is to say, what problems does that's what I'm trying to ask myself now is like, what problems does a 9-figure person have? Because that's the only way I can start charging 6-figure retainers
Yeah.
versus 5-figure retainers or 4-figure retainers. And
Yeah.
those concepts are crazy. I think like Chris Do talks about this a lot, where he calls
Dude,
about,
I was
calls
just
it a
going to
fool's rate.
mention that. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, like that. His talk on fool's rate was like crazy to me because he was like, okay, sweet. He's talking to a client in this, he did these like client conversations. He's like, if I build you to $20 million in revenue, rather than charging you $20,000, I'm going to charge you $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And the client's like, well, that really sucks. And it's like, why do you care if you're making 20 million and you currently have $1 million, and I'm guaranteeing you through an incentive-based thing that you're going to make 20, I'm going to charge $1 million for that.
Yeah.
And then Chris was like, I'm going to go find someone that does that same thing for $10,000.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pocket the rest. And it's going to be the best person on planet Earth. The client's going to be super happy. And I'm pocketing $990,000. And the end person is happy because they're getting their $10,000. But
you and
the
I
client only cares about the result.
Yeah, so you and I are saying something or similar though, because everybody's worth on how that is going to be dependent on them, right?
No, because I don't think it comes down to actual skill set. I don't think it comes down to like people that are really great at editing videos in general will actually make less money. Because if you're a great editor and you can't think about how to be a great business owner who manages editors or a great manager of editors, you're never going to make more money than the person that's a business owner that's able to manage it. So it's like what actually is relevant is not the skill itself, it's managing the skill. And to the same extent, it's like the next tier of leverage. And so unfortunately, there's a lot of freelancers that are always going to be the most skilled, but they're not going to think, how do I maximize myself and duplicate myself? And in my opinion, I actually think it's worth it if you're not yet very skilled at something to first get some free clients. And then if you are really good, to identify better opportunities, and rather than charging what you're worth, charging what problem you're solving. And if you are targeting small businesses, you're not going to make money. If you're charging corporations, you're going to make a lot of money. If you charge high-level people, you'll make a lot of money. If you charge low-level people, you're not going to make a lot of money. So it's just like, at the end of the day, it's actually the vehicle of the person you're working with, not the skill set that you have. The skill set you have is actually not very relevant. It's, can you like figure out what they need and create a solution for them that's worth it? Like, I don't think real estate agents are the top of the food chain. And for me, like, I work with a lot of Amazon sellers. I work with some real estate people. Like, Cody Sanchez would probably values her team pretty highly. Alex Ramosi probably values his team pretty highly. Grant Cardone probably values his team pretty highly. Mm. And that same level of work, that same quality of work could be done for a smaller creator, and the person would make a quarter of what they would be making, just because the brand is different and the person values it differently.
Yeah.
But the quality of the work is the same and the activity is the same.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though with that is that but that value is all relative. Just because the industry standard is to charge $1,000 a day, that might not make sense for me because whatever reason. But I do think that there are people that undercut themselves. I'm not saying everybody has to go out and be a business owner. Like, I've got buddies that are fantastic at they go there to film and they dump that footage, but they are trusted because these companies will pay these guys to go and show up and film because they can rely on what it is they're providing. But those same guys are not going to go and build a team and build this whole company and stuff around that because either they don't want to, they don't necessarily want to grow into that, or they are just legitimately comfortable at what it is that they're doing because it's kind of this rinse and repeat thing.
Yeah, but
going off for like
how do you solve the problem of like they want more money?
it's going out and finding people that see the value that you provide. I think that's the other part that like is kind of skipped over too. I mean, because I get everything, I agree with everything you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, what kind of value can you provide to this client outside of just whatever it is, just the editing, whatever. So like, if I'm going to go work with a client, like I'm there as a main editor, like I'm also going to provide value in terms of how we can make this better in every aspect. So I think we are saying very similar things with different nuances here and there.
Sure.
But also looking at it through the lens, because we do run our own agencies.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I think you identified, like, I would probably assume that you're a better editor than me. Actually, not assume. I know for a fact that you're a better editor than me. I know for a fact that you're better with shooting and like anything regarding the actual craft. I think you're better than me at. And what was a big shocker to me was realizing that Ryan McGinn, who's at the top of the food chain for us, there's a few other people in that same space.
Yeah.
They're quieter, but there's a few other people. Ryan, who's at the top of that food chain, he is not a good videographer. He edits on ScreenFlow still, and he's great at virality and storytelling, and it's not actually about the craft. And I think instead he's realized that if he can hire people that are better at the craft and optimized for the craft,
100%. Like when I decided to do this on my own.
Me.
Yeah, and the only reason I knew that is because like some of the guys that I work with, we also like worked with Ryan, so I got to see like how that whole process was done, and that's what was kind of an eye opener for me. Because as soon as I decided to do my own thing, one of the first people I went and found was an editor that I had worked with before, who is faster and better and more organized than I am.
Yeah.
So and like that's the other part of it too that we didn't even get into. We probably shouldn't, but like it's finding the right people that are just going to be better than you at the areas that you either don't want to spend the time working on or that just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we can do a whole other episode.
I know.
I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this shop.
Sorry, bud.
We got super tactical after 20 minutes of being like, this is the most scuffed episode possible. But if any homies have been in here this whole time, I hope you get value. Let me know what you'd like us to talk about, because I'm definitely going to have Austin on. We'll definitely talk about this again. Austin, thanks. We know where to find you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, dude.
You.
I appreciate it. Dude, and when you get those wins, I'm expecting texts of like, hey, man, I just landed this and this and this. That's how we're doing it.
Yeah. Well, I'm flying to Cali tomorrow. But we'll talk whether you're going to come to Miami or not.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
Appreciate it, man.
All right. Peace.